Tonight, we don't study ideas as if they were museum pieces under glass. We step into them softly, as into a quiet forest at dusk. We are not here to chase conclusions. We are here to be changed gently by a way of seeing. Inspired by Albert Einstein, we will travel not through equations, but through the atmosphere of wonder that gave birth to them. Think of this as a journey from noise toward a melody that was always there, waiting beneath the surface of things. These thoughts are invitations, not instructions. Take only what resonates, leave the rest like smooth stones by the river. We will move through stories, quiet insights and questions that nudge the curious part of the mind awake, even as the body sinks into rest. In their calm unfolding, a small transformation becomes possible. Disquiet loosens, serenity gathers, and the vastness that once felt cold begins to feel like home. Welcome to Sleepy Philosopher, a sanctuary for the mind. Here there is nothing to fix, nothing to prove. You are safe to let go. If you feel a kinship with this path of gentle reflection, you are warmly invited to subscribe, only if it feels right. And if you wish, share in the comments where you are listening from and what time it is for you, our little constellation of souls across the world. Let's take our first soft breath together, in through the nose, slow and easy, and out like a tide receding. Our journey begins with a simple, steadying idea. Uncertainty has weight, and curiosity can be the hand that helps us lift it. We start here because Einstein began here, by questioning our place within a universe both mysterious and precise. The feeling is familiar. We stand beneath an enormous sky, sensing a pattern we cannot quite name and wonder quietly, where do I fit? That wondering is not a weakness, it is the doorway. Picture a room late at night. A desk lamp casts a warm circle of light on paper filled with symbols. Outside, the city is asleep. Inside, a mind is awake to the rhythm of the cosmos. In 1915, Einstein proposed a general theory of relativity, a language in which gravity is not a force pulling, but the shape of spacetime itself curving. Beneath the apparent chaos, he sensed order, like ripples in a lake revealing the shape of what lies beneath. He did not erase uncertainty, he listened to it. He let questions lead, like stars guiding a traveler through the dark. Imagine him stepping back from the page to look through a window at the night. The moon is steady, the constellations patient. He knows what we know but forget to trust. The universe is vast, and yet it keeps time. Planets move in silent arcs. Light bends predictably when it brushes past mass. Even the unpredictability we fear has a place in a larger order. And still inside the small circle of lamplight, there is a human heart, sometimes unsure. That is our condition. The world beyond us feels arranged. The world within us can feel scattered. The echo of this ancient, starlit moment sounds in our lives today. We scroll through headlines and feel the ground shift beneath our feet. Plans change, roles blur, Even the stories we tell ourselves about who we are can crack like thin ice. The pace of work and news, the gentle tyranny of notifications, the horizon of the future hazy with what if. This is the modern weather of the mind. And yet the same universe that braided gravity into geometry holds us, silently, with its unspoken assurances. Morning follows night. The heart keeps time. Breaths arrive one after another, each a small vote for life. In this we can take a lesson from the night watchful scientist. Rather than fighting uncertainty, we can learn to ask it better questions. When the world rushes, we can slow and listen for the pattern beneath the noise. Notice how the body responds when you soften your jaw, lower your shoulders, and allow a long exhale. There is order in that permission. There is wisdom in allowing, in aligning, in trusting that the deeper architecture of things is not against us. Let us take one gentle step further. Think of a moment of awe you've felt recently. It doesn't have to be grand. It could be the way steam curled from your morning cup, or the hush of rain on a window, or the evening sky catching fire and then dimming to ash blue. Hold that memory lightly, as if it were a small lantern cupped in your hands. Awe is the body recognizing order without words. It is a signpost pointing us back to the broader pattern, the one that carried Einstein to his insights and can carry us to our calm. If worry is a clenched fist, awe is an open palm. And with an open palm, we can receive what is already here. Breath, gravity, the steady pulse, the quiet hum of existence doing its work. So as we rest with this first step of our journey, feel how uncertainty grows lighter when we stand with it rather than against it. We are not trying to solve ourselves tonight. We are learning to stand under a sky that is wide and, yes, orderly enough to cradle our questions. If you like, take another slow breath in. And out. Allow this thought to sit quietly with you. Your curiosity is not a problem to be cured. It is the compass that points you home. And as you drift, you might ask just once and then let it fade. Where is wonder still alive in me, and what is it inviting me to notice next? Let the question float beyond the mind's reach, like a small paper boat on a calm river, and let sleep or something like it carry you forward. The night is large enough. You belong within it. As our journey continues, we turn gently toward the great unknown and listen to its quiet music. In the last segment, we began to loosen the heavy grip of uncertainty, letting curiosity carry some of that weight. Now we take a softer step. We honor the mystery itself. Not every question asks for an answer tonight. Some questions simply ask for our presence. Albert Einstein once described the world standing before us like a great, eternal riddle, vast, shimmering, and humbling. He did not demand that the riddle be solved at once. He learned to dwell with it, to let wonder be the doorway rather than the finish line. This is our posture now, open, unhurried, quietly awake to the unknown. As we rest here together, imagine the universe as a night sky with countless constellations of questions, not pressing in on us, but gliding overhead. We are not under interrogation, we are under the stars. There is a small story, almost a candle flame of a memory. A child notices a compass needle refusing to be random, pulled by something invisible and steady. His name is Albert, and the needle's quiet loyalty stirs him more than any loud lecture could. He does not solve the mystery that day, he lets it live in him. Years later, in a dim room with snow feathering at the window, a violin rests beneath his chin. He draws the bow and a single note blooms, then settles into a slow, breathing line. The same feeling returns. There is an order we can sense before we can define it, a presence that invites patience. He allows the unknown to sit beside him like a quiet friend, neither pushed away nor forced to confess its secrets. In time, insights arrive not as thunder, but as the soft accumulation of listening. The riddle does not close, it opens wider, and somehow that widening feels like home. And so this ancient wisdom finds its echo in our own lives. The future arrives like fog over a harbor, neither enemy nor guarantee, just a shifting silver veil. Some nights we feel both fear and excitement as we think of what might come. The path we haven't chosen, the message we're waiting for, the answer we cannot hurry. When the mind tries to sprint into the mist, may we instead walk at the pace of breath. Let us trace a soft inhale, as if we are opening a window an inch. Let a gentle exhale follow, as if we are setting a lantern down. Notice the weight of your blankets, the quiet architecture of your room, the way the air rests against your skin. We are not required to solve ourselves before sleep. Tonight we practice a subtler art, embracing the presence of the unknown and letting it be part of the peace, not a problem to defeat. If you like, bring to mind one unresolved question in your life. Name it silently, gently, as if speaking to a dear companion. Now imagine placing it in a shallow bowl of starlight, where it can glow without urgency. Breathe in and let its wonder rise. Breathe out and let the need to force an answer soften. Ask quietly, what quality does this question want from me? Patience, courage, kindness, trust. Allow the question to remain luminous and open, like that compass needle pointing toward a presence you do not have to see to honor. Perhaps the peace we seek tonight is not on the far side of certainty, but here, in the companionship of the unknown. As we drift, we can whisper to ourselves, I do not have to solve this now. I can let wonder remain. And in that permission, the riddle becomes a cradle, and rest finds us. In the quiet that follows our brave choice to befriend the unknown, another sound begins to emerge, like a low symphony carrying through the evening air. It is the hum of order, the gentle cadence of a universe keeping time. Albert Einstein listened for this cadence, and when he heard it, he found peace. not the stiff peace of rigid answers, but the soft peace that comes from recognizing a pattern larger than ourselves. He spoke of harmony, of laws that do not scold but sing. Baruch Spinoza once offered a language for this, a way of seeing the divine in the unbroken coherence of existence. And years later, Einstein echoed that spirit, sensing that the real comfort isn't in control, but in the reliability of something vast and kind. We, too, can line into this reliability tonight. After loosening the tight knot of uncertainty and letting mystery breathe alongside us, we take the next step. We listen for the harmony that quietly holds everything together. Let this idea arrive softly, law as lullaby, structure as solace, a pattern steady enough to rest upon. There is a small story, almost a whisper in history. In 1929, when asked about God by Rabbi Herbert S. Goldstein, Einstein replied by telegram, "I believe in Spinoza's God who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of what exists." Not a doctrine, but a direction of attention. Picture the moment as a simple scene, a slip of paper, a brief message, and a current of meaning sent across wires. The room around him would have been ordinary, faint wall shadows, perhaps the distant murmur of a city settling into night, yet the words carry the hush of a cathedral. Spinoza himself, whose Ethics was published posthumously in 1677, had tried to show that what we call divine may be the very fabric of consistency, the seamlessness of nature being exactly as it is. Einstein's telegram feels like the soft click of a key turning, a reminder that we can trust the quiet strength of coherence. The wires hum, the message travels, and somewhere a mind relaxes, not because everything is known, but because the rhythm is reliable. And so, this ancient wisdom finds its echo in our own lives. The world can be loud and tangled, yet there are rhythms that do not waver. The tide remembers its way home. Seasons keep their gentle appointments. Even in a restless city, the crosswalk blinks in measured intervals, and the old radiator releases warmth in patient breaths. We don't have to understand everything to feel supported by this steadiness. Tonight, let your own breathing be the doorway. Feel how it arrives and departs like a shoreline touched by waves. Inhale, the sea offers. Exhale, the sea returns. When the mind wants to hurry, we can let the body show us a kinder rhythm, one that has been practicing for us since the beginning. The same laws that send planets along their silent paths also guide the tender mechanics of your chest rising and falling. You are not outside this harmony, you are within it. You are of it. For a few quiet moments, let us practice resting on that harmony. Place a hand over your heart or your belly, wherever the movement is easy to feel. Breathe in gently, as if you are listening. Breathe out slowly, as if you are answering. Inward receive, outward release. If it helps, whisper inwardly, orderly on the in-breath, and harmony on the out-breath. Allow this thought to sit quietly with you, that your breath is not separate from the universe's rhythm, but a small echo of its eternal heartbeat. And perhaps as you rest, you might ask a soft question. Where is the dependable rhythm in my life right now? outside me, around me, within me, that I can lean upon. There is nothing to force. We are only listening, keeping time with what already keeps time with us. As the night deepens, let this harmony hold you, like a steady hand in the dark, guiding you toward ease. We take our next step by turning gently toward a vision that quietly shaped Einstein's way of seeing. A universe where the divine does not stand apart, but breathes through the order and beauty of everything that is. Spinoza named it God or nature, a single unfolding reality, not elsewhere but here. Einstein found kinship in that view, sensing a presence not as a person watching us, but as the seamless, comprehensible harmony stitched through space and time. We have been listening for the melody beneath the noise. Now we trace the lines of the score. If there is a holiness in this, it is the holiness of pattern. The way rivers choose their curves, the way stars keep their promises, the way a thought arrives with the quiet certainty of dawn. Years later, he would speak of a feeling that rises before doctrine, a reverence for the lawful order of things, a kind of cosmic devotion that asks nothing and explains nothing, only invites us to notice. In lectures delivered in 1939 and 1941, he put it this way: "Science tells us what is, while our values live elsewhere, in the tender realm of meaning and care." Tonight, we let that distinction soften us. We're not here to argue a system. We're here to feel the calm that comes when we recognize an order that needs no defense, only our attention. Let us take a soft breath together and begin. Imagine a quiet morning. The sun drifts through a thin curtain, laying a lattice of light across scattered papers. In the next room, a radio releases a hush of static. A hand turns the dial slowly, until the static yields and a gentle melody appears, as if it had always been there, waiting to be heard. In my mind's eye, Einstein pauses in that doorway, listening. The notes are simple, but the harmony is intricate, each instrument responding to another, chaos bowing to order without being silenced. On the desk, symbols and lines sketch out arcs and fields. The patterns don't march, they flow, like streams finding one river. He does not force the music to happen, he tunes himself to it. This is how Spinoza's universe hums, not a command from outside, but an inner coherence, a web of relations where every thread sings in sympathy with the rest. When Einstein later reminded audiences that science describes what is, while values dwell beyond its reach, he was pointing us back to this moment of tuning, of letting the world declare its own rhythm, then choosing how gently we will move with it. And so, this ancient wisdom finds its echo in our own lives, especially in a digital age that flickers with interruptions. Messages arrive like birds startled from a tree. Notifications bead upon our attention like quick rain on a window. We scroll and switch and juggle, and somewhere beneath the static, a melody waits. Spinoza's lens invites us to look for the harmony hidden inside the bustle, the way errands, conversations, and pauses can form a single phrase when held together with kindness. Picture the city at night as seen from above, streets and paths glowing like constellations, each light joined to the next by a thread of purpose. Or think of the forest floor, where fine white mycelium links root to root, tree to tree, sharing quiet messages of water and sugar. This is how we can move through the day, not isolated dots, but part of a living diagram that supports us. When your screen blooms with tasks, let your mind trace an invisible lattice that holds them all, a soothing web that does not tangle but cradles, letting each strand carry only what it can. If you wish, try this now. Close the inner eyelids of the mind and sense a gentle web surrounding you, like soft filaments of light. Each breath is one luminous strand, each heartbeat another. The people you love are nearby threads, warm and steady. Your questions, too, have a place in this weave. They do not dangle, they are held. Notice how the web supports the weight of your thoughts, distributing them until they feel light. Let a recent worry arrive. See it rest on the lattice and settle, its sharp edges rounding. Breathe in slowly, as if the whole network inhales with you. Breathe out and imagine the web humming, a soft note of reassurance. Perhaps ask, without rushing for an answer, where, in the pattern of today, did order quietly show itself? And where might you let yourself be carried a little more, trusting the threads that already hold you? Allow this thought to sit quietly with you as we continue. In a world that seems to scatter us, we are not scattered. We belong to a single, spacious music, and tonight we learn to hear it by resting within it. As our path deepens, we turn to a quiet, luminous pair, the freedom to inquire and the responsibility that follows from what we find. We have already learned to rest beside the unknown, to listen for the subtle music of order beneath the noise. Now we ask, what kind of posture lets that music come closer? For Einstein, it was the courage to keep asking, even when answers felt delayed or unpopular. Intellectual freedom is not rebellion for its own sake. It is fidelity to truth over habit, an inner vow to let wonder lead rather than rigid belief. And responsibility is the companion that walks beside it, reminding us that knowledge touches lives. Think of a gentle stream at twilight, permitted to wind and discover its way. Our questions move like that, curiosity carving a path through stone, patient, soft, and unstoppable. Let us take a soft breath here, welcoming the thought that our most honest questions are not problems to conceal, but lanterns to carry. There's a scene I love to imagine from Einstein's youth. A bright classroom in Aarau, Switzerland, wooden desks warmed by morning light, slate and chalk, windows slightly open to the river air. In 1895 and 1896, he studied at the Kantonsschule Aarau while boarding with Jost Winteler, a family friend who welcomed this curious teenager into his home. The spirit of that school, influenced by a gentler tradition of learning, encouraged students to reach their own conclusions rather than recite them. Picture him there, not memorizing slogans, but tracing the contours of a thought, what is light really like, allowing inquiry to loosen the knots of assumption. The years unfurl, and we find him again, later in life, carrying freedom into responsibility. On 9 July 1955, in London's Caxton Hall, the Russell-Einstein Manifesto was issued, urging leaders to seek peace in the shadow of nuclear weapons. Einstein had signed it shortly before his death that April. Within it sounded a sentence shaped like a bell for the human spirit: remember your humanity and forget the rest. The arc is clear: freedom to question, and then the care to answer for how knowledge is used. And so, this wisdom finds its echo in our own lives. We live in an age of metrics and dashboards, of test scores and quarterly goals, where curiosity is often treated like a luxury instead of the engine of understanding. Many of us learn to study for the grade rather than for the glow of discovery, to complete the task rather than step into the larger question. But the stream remains available. Even now, we can let our attention wander with purpose, like water choosing a path, exploring not because we must, but because something in us longs to know. Perhaps tonight you turn a page simply because a sentence is beautiful. Perhaps you look up a constellation, not to master it, but to greet it. Perhaps you learn a phrase in a new language, only because the sounds feel smooth in your mouth. This is what it looks like to honor freedom without drifting into aimlessness. A willingness to follow genuine wonder, paired with the humility to consider how our discoveries touch others. Let us pause for a gentle breath, acknowledging that balance. So, a simple invitation as we close this chapter. What did you last learn for pure joy? Allow the memory to come, a recipe you tried, a shape of cloud you identified, a poem you sounded out under your breath. Notice how your body feels when learning is permission, not pressure. If you wish, choose one small question for tomorrow, something one step wide and one step deep. No outcome needed, no audience required. Let your curiosity guide you like a gentle stream, meandering through soft ground, letting gravity and grace decide the turns. And if insight comes, let responsibility keep you kind. Ask how this knowledge can soothe, help, or heal. Allow this thought to sit quietly with you as you rest. Freedom opens the door, responsibility lights the room. Breathe once more slowly and feel the current of honest inquiry carrying you towards sleep. Tonight we visit a quiet union that Einstein himself trusted, that science and spirituality need not be rivals, but companions searching for the same hidden shoreline of truth. He walked a path where equations met reverence, where clarity did not cancel wonder, and where careful thought bowed to something vaster than thought. In his writing from 1930, he spoke of a cosmic religious failing, a mood of awe that gives science its heartbeat, its patience, its courage. And in talks around 1939 and 1941, he offered a simple compass. Science can tell us what is, while our sense of value and meaning reminds us what should be. We have already learned together to hear the quiet architecture of reality, the dependable harmony beneath noise. Now we let that harmony widen into a sanctuary where logic and wonder rest side by side, like two shores shaping the same river. Take a gentle breath with me, unhurried. Let the air arrive and let it go. We do not need to choose between a map and the landscape. We can hold both, the method that measures and the mystery that blesses, to travel wisely. Imagine a mountain at dawn. The observatory dome opens with a soft mechanical sigh, and a thin blade of sunlight slips inside, passing through a glass prism on a workbench. The white beam unfurls into a fan of color across the concrete floor: violet, indigo, green, gold, a quiet rainbow breathing against the shadowed instruments. Down in the valley, a small chapel unlocks its door, and the first notes of a pipe organ touch the air, low and patient. In the dome, a scientist calibrates a spectrograph to read the signatures of starlight. In the chapel, an organist chooses stops to tune a morning hymn. Two rituals, one above the trees and one below, both listening for pattern, both aligning themselves with something steady and greater. The scientist pauses at the rainbow ribbon on the floor, smiling at how light reveals its hidden structure. The organist holds a note just long enough to feel the room gentle into harmony. Neither knows the other, but they are working in the same direction, toward a fidelity to what is real. Logic and reverence move like two hands toward the same center. And so, this ancient kinship finds its echo in our days of split screens and sharp debates. We are often asked to choose, follow the data or trust the heart, analysis or faith. But we can let Einstein's compass guide us. Let careful inquiry tell us what is, and let our deepest values orient what we do with that knowledge. In this way, the experiment and the prayer are not enemies. They are different windows opening to the same sky. When a headline tightens your chest, when a conversation grows hot, you might imagine a small prism resting in your palm. Ask gently, what is the light here? The facts, the measurable pieces. Then ask what colors appear when that light passes through my values: compassion, responsibility, humility. We do not dilute truth by adding care, we reveal its spectrum. The awe Einstein named, the cosmic religious failing, is not an escape from reality, but an intimacy with it, a readiness to be moved by how order and meaning meet. Breathe in slowly, as if gathering the colors. Breathe out slowly, as if letting them merge into one gentle brightness. Now, let us turn inward with a soft question. Where do your own beliefs and experiences of wonder meet the mysteries that science presents? You might rest one hand on your heart and one on your belly. With the next inhale, let the upper hand symbolize clarity, the measured, the observable. With the exhale, let the lower hand symbolize care, the meanings and values that guide your steps. Inhale what is. Exhale what matters. Feel how the breath quietly unites them. Allow this thought to sit with you. We do not have to force harmony. We can consent to it by listening well. Perhaps as you drift toward rest, you can hold a single, gentle intention: to let your curiosity serve your kindness, and your kindness serve your curiosity. In that balance, we find the calm that Einstein trusted, the peace of a mind aligned with both truth and tenderness. Let the body grow heavier, as if lying inside a wide cathedral of night, where color has blended back into quiet light, and where both reason and reverence keep watch together. As our journey deepens, we turn toward a quiet fire that warmed Einstein's days and nights, a devotion to understanding that reached beyond the edges of our human habits and assumptions. Not understanding as a trophy, but as a way of being, curiosity as a living thread, tugging us gently toward the heart of things. He moved not to conquer the world with answers, but to befriend it, to listen to nature as you would listen to a dear companion. We too can move this way. We can meet the universe on its own terms with a softness that asks, "What are you showing me now?" In our earlier steps, we learn to rest beside uncertainty. Tonight we let that rest open into a wider wonder, a willingness to wander just beyond what we already know. Let us take a slow breath in and out and feel how curiosity lengthens the exhale, how it invites the shoulders to unclench and the mind to grow spacious. Picture a small European city at dusk, burn, trams humming, cobblestones keeping their evening chill. A young patent clerk steps out into the fading light, pockets full of folded notes and a question that will not let him go. He wonders, as he has since youth, what it would be like to run alongside a beam of light, to see what light sees. The river loops past, calm and patient. He walks, talks with a trusted friend, and later, at a modest desk, sketches ideas that will become papers, 4 in a single year, published in Annalen der Physik in 1905, a season historians now call his annus mirabilis. He is not chasing fame or a finish line. He is following the question itself, letting it set the pace. In that following, the world opens, space and time tilt into new meaning, and the simple act of wondering proves mighty enough to redraw the map. And so, this older story finds its echo in our own bright, hurried lives. The day presses with notifications, headlines and timelines, each asking for a quick reply. But beneath the noise, the river is still flowing. We can pause even now, feel the weight of the blanket, notice how the room settles into gentler shades, listen for the faintest sound in the distance. Curiosity does not demand a research grant or a laboratory. It asks only for attention. Choose something small and near. The rhythm of your breath as it rounds the edge of your lips, the way a shadow leans across the wall, the quiet architecture of your own thoughts as they drift and thin. Ask softly, what is here that I haven't noticed? And then let the answer come, not as a shout, but as a slow arrival, like mist parting to reveal a path you didn't know you were walking. Tonight, let us choose one part of life that always stirs our curiosity, something that, without effort, lifts the corners of our attention. Perhaps it is the mystery of memory, the way kindness changes a room, the design of a leaf, or the secret choreography of your own moods. Hold that single fascination gently, as if cupping a small lantern in the night. With each breath, let it glow a little warmer, guiding you not toward an answer, but toward a kinder way of seeing. As you drift, you might whisper inwardly, "Lied me." No deadlines, no verdicts, only a companionable question resting at the edge of sleep. Allow this thought to sit quietly with you. Understanding is not a gate we pass through, but a path we walk together, step by step, breath by breath. May your night be spacious, your curiosity unhurried, and your rest deep. We have been learning to listen to our questions, to feel the steady rhythm of order beneath the surface hum of life. Tonight we widen the frame. Einstein's calm did not arise from controlling every detail, but from letting his sense of self stretch out into the immensity, as though the mind could recline in the universe itself. When we remember how small we are, not as an insult but as a placement, a deep ease enters. We are held by something larger. In 1930, writing in the New York Times Magazine in an essay titled Religion and Science, Einstein spoke of a quiet, cosmic religious feeling, a reverence that does not ask for favors but finds peace in the lawful vastness of what is. He knew that an enlarged view could soften the tightness of the day, the way a horizon eases the mind compared to a window's frame. As we rest together, let us visit that wider view and allow its serenity to wash through the small rooms of our concerns. Take a soft breath here and feel the space around your breath expand. Imagine you step into a quiet dome, a planetarium after hours. The doors close with a hush, and the city falls away like a coat slipped from the shoulders. You tilt back into a reclining chair, and above you the ceiling dissolves into velvet black, scattered with slow, patient fires. The lights dim until your thoughts are the brightest things, and then even they begin to fade as constellations drift into view. A guided voice does not lecture. It simply names a few shapes and lets your mind draw the lines the way we did as children. The stars are not demanding. They are simply there, older than your inbox, older than your to-do list, older than the worry that arrived uninvited this afternoon. As clusters wheel without urgency, your breathing matches their unhurried pace. The vastness becomes a soft blanket, tucking the edges of your thoughts, smoothing the crease of the brow, making room for gentleness where tightness used to live. And in that dome, you remember that your life is part of something wide and quietly kind. And so this ancient way of seeing finds its echo in our own days. Modern life shrinks our world to the size of a screen, a calendar square, a single conversation looped in the mind. We mistake nearness for importance, immediacy for truth. But when the frame widens, even in imagination, the same tasks are still there, only now they sit within a sky that does not hurry. Einstein's comfort with the universe's order teaches us that perspective changes the feeling tone of our hours. The schedule's weight lightens when set upon a vast table. You can practice this anywhere. Look away from the small, glowing square and let your gaze rest on the farthest point in the room or out a window to a distant line. If the night is clear, step outside for a moment and feel the coolness touch your face. If not, close your eyes and picture a great, star-sewn quilt unfurling above you. With each inhale, imagine that quilt lowering gently. With each exhale, feel it cover your thoughts with patient warmth. Let us try it now together. Inhale softly, as if drawing the night sky toward you. Exhale slowly and picture that vast blanket settling over your forehead, your temples, the crown of the head. Inhale and let the stars brighten. Exhale and allow your worries to become small, like tiny pebbles lying quietly on an endless shore. Ask without urgency, when I hold my life against the scale of the galaxies, what loosens? Which knot begins to untie itself, simply because there is more room around it? Allow this question to sit beside you like a calm friend, no answer needed. Perhaps, as Einstein suggested in that 1930 reflection, reverence arises when we stop trying to take the universe personally and simply let it be vast. Tonight may this spaciousness become your resting place, the serenity of a cosmic perspective folding around you, steady and kind. Breathe once more with the sky, and let sleep find you within that gentle immensity. Tonight we arrive at a quiet threshold, the shift from belief as a fixed statement to a softer, vaster trust, what Einstein called a cosmic faith. Not a pleading with a personal power to bend events, but a resting in the lawful harmony that breathes through everything. We have already widened our view to the night beyond the window, letting perspective loosen worry's grip. Now we lean a little further into that serenity. In a 1930 essay for the New York Times Magazine, Einstein wrote about a cosmic religious feeling, a reverent awareness of order that does not ask the universe to change, but listens for how it already moves. This is a movement away from control toward understanding, away from demanding certainty toward keeping company with the deep, reliable patterns that make the world intelligible. Imagine belief as a closed fist and understanding as an open palm. The closed fist tries to hold the sky. The open palm feels the breeze and learns the wind. We are simply learning to open the hand. With a soft breath in, let that thought drift across your awareness. And with the exhale, feel the ground of lawful order beneath you, as steady as a shoreline at low tide. There is a story I like to imagine, a small parable from a coast that could be anywhere. A lighthouse keeper once spent storm nights begging the sea to be calm. He would step out onto the catwalk, hat pulled low, rain like needles on his cheeks, and whisper his prayers into the wind. The ocean did as oceans do, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce. Exhausted, the keeper finally turned inward and opened the old charts he had ignored. The tide tables, the star paths, the notes of those who had watched longer than him. He learned the moon's pull, the patterning of currents, the way swells lift before they break. On the next storm night he did not plead. He adjusted the lens, checked the fuel, tied the ropes, and kept the lamp singing. Ships still met waves, but fewer struck the rocks. The keeper's heart, once cramped with fear, began to carry a tranquil weight, the kind that comes when you trust a rhythm larger than yourself. He hadn't gained control, he had gained understanding. In that understanding, there was a gentler kind of faith, not that the sea would obey, but that he could align with its law and keep the light true. And so this older wisdom finds its echo in our own evenings. We face inbox storms, shifting headlines, family worries, and the unsettled weather of the mind. The old habit is to bargain with the moment, to beg sleep to arrive, to demand certainty about tomorrow, to try to outshout the wind. But a cosmic faith, the one Einstein pointed toward, is simpler. It says, learn the pattern, let go of the grip, align your small actions with a larger order. We breathe steadily, and this body answers by softening the shoulders. We dim the light, and the circadian tide begins its slow, dependable turn. We speak kindly to ourselves, and the nervous system hears a safer world. None of this forces the ocean, it tunes the lamp. The cosmos does not offer guarantees of outcomes, but it offers an intimacy with dependable relations, causes that lean into effects, patterns that repeat like the hush and return of waves across a midnight beach. From this place, peace becomes less about what happens and more about how we meet it. Understanding replaces the frantic need to control, and rest arrives like a tide kept by a distant moon. If you like, let us practice together now. Inhale gently through the nose as if drawing in the cool of a quiet shore. Exhale as though you are setting a lantern back on its cradle, steady, warm. Notice a single worry floating nearby, a thought that wants the world to bend just so. Without pushing it away, place it on a small boat in your mind. See the boat rise and fall on a predictable tide. You are not pleading with the sea. You are remembering how the sea moves. Ask softly, where can I exchange my tight belief for a wider trust in lawful harmony? Which small action, one breath, one kindness, one clear boundary, aligns me with that harmony tonight? Let these questions rest beside you, like smooth stones warming in your palm. As you settle, allow the vast, unending cosmos to become your bed, galaxies like a quilt, gravity like a gentle hand, universal laws like the frame of a cradle. You do not have to hold the sky. The sky holds you. And in that quiet, Einstein's cosmic faith becomes something you can feel, not as doctrine, but as ease. The sense that the world is steadily knowable, and that you are safe enough here and now to drift into sleep in its arms. We have been slowly turning belief into a quieter faith, one that listens for the lawful music beneath life's noise. Tonight we take a gentle step from understanding into experience, into feeling the order we've been speaking about as something alive in the body, in the breath, in the rhythm of the heart. Einstein found a profound calm in the recognition that the universe is not random chaos, but an unfolding of dependable law. He suggested not a creed to memorize, but a way of being. Harmony within and harmony with the world beyond our skin. In this spirit, let us invite the idea that peace arrives not when the world slows for us, but when we quietly attune ourselves to the pace at which reality already moves. Take a soft breath here. Notice your inhale arriving like a guest at the door, and the exhale leaving like a friend who knows the way home. As we breathe, we begin to sense a lawfulness that is closer than close, a pulse that does not need to be forced, only felt. And with that, we open to the possibility that alignment is less an achievement and more a gentle falling into step with what is. In November 1930, writing in the New York Times Magazine under the title Religion and Science, Einstein spoke of a cosmic religious feeling, a reverence for the intelligible order shimmering through everything. Rather than argue for it, let's feel an echo of it through a simple, living image. Imagine a long wooden board resting on soft cylinders so it can glide a little. Upon it, a row of metronomes is set ticking, each one started at a different time, each insisting on its own beat. At first, the room is a scatter of clicks, a polite clatter of disagreement. The board shifts almost imperceptibly under their rhythm, carrying tiny messages between them, nudges of momentum, shared through the common ground they rest upon. Slowly, the scattered rhythm begins to gather. A few fall into step. Then more. Until, without a single command, the room that was once many becomes one steady, gentle pulse. What changed? Not the nature of each metronome, they kept their character. It was their relationship with the shared bass, the medium that connected them, that allowed a quiet accord to emerge. This is a small parable of how lawfulness works, not as a tyrant from above, but as a field of relationship that invites everything into balance when we let ourselves be coupled to it. And so, this ancient wisdom finds its echo in our own lives. Modern living often jostles our inner metronome, notifications, deadlines, artificial light long after the sun has set. Our bodies carry a music that evolved for dawn and dusk, for work and rest, yet we ask it to play to a dozen conflicting tempos. We cannot stop the world's clocks, but we can decide what we allow our heartbeat to lean against. We can choose a shared base. Perhaps it is the morning sky before screens, letting your eyes meet something far away so the mind can remember space. Perhaps it is a steady bedtime, a warm cup held with both hands, the soft ritual that tells the nervous system, now we dim. Perhaps it is a breathing pattern that is kind to the heart, an unhurried inhale, a longer exhale, so the body hears the message of safety. In honoring even one rhythm that nature offers, the cycle of light, the cadence of breath, the simple rise and fall that all living things share, we let the invisible board beneath us begin to glide, carrying us toward coherence. We do not force serenity, we consent to it. We become available to it. If you like, place a hand over your heart now. Feel its steadfast drummer, working without applause. Imagine that each beat is a tiny star flare, and that a constellation forms with every gentle thrum. Visualize your heart as part of the universe's boundless pattern, beating in time with its eternal pulse, sunrise to sunset, season to season, atom to galaxy. Breathe in softly for a count that feels easy. Breathe out a little longer, as though you are letting the day exhale through you. With each breath, let the metronomes within you, thoughts, feelings, muscles, take their cues from this deeper rhythm. They don't need to be identical, they only need a shared ground. Allow this thought to sit quietly with you. Alignment is not perfection, it is friendship with reality. As you rest here, perhaps ask, what is one rhythm I will honor tomorrow? The light on my window when I wake, the unhurried pauses between tasks, the way my breath returns home when I remember. Hold this question like a small lantern as you drift. The lawfulness we seek is already holding us. There is nothing to fix, only a pulse to feel and a peace to receive. As our journey settles into its late movement, we turn to a gentle image that Einstein cherished. The universe as music, an unseen score of relation and rhythm, where each law is a note and each event a momentary ornament in a larger song. Not a sentimental tune, but a steady, spacious composition that allows us to rest even when life sounds dissonant. Long before Einstein, Johannes Kepler spoke of this harmony in his 1619 treatise Harmonious Mundi, the harmony of the world, listening for ratios in the motions of planets and hearing, in their changing speeds, a kind of cosmic interval. Across centuries, that intuition remained, beneath apparent randomness, a dependable cadence. We too have been learning to listen, shifting from chasing certainty to attuning to order, from tight fists to open hands, from noise to pattern. And now, near the heart of rest, we can let the possibility arise that everything we meet tonight, the flutter, the interruption, the stray thought, might be part of a larger phrasing. Let us take a soft breath here, in through the nose, slow and kind, and out through the mouth, longer than the in-breath. Imagine this: night is quiet, and on a side table sits an old radio with a round dial and a warm, amber glow. You turn the dial a few degrees and hear static, a whispery snow of sound. A little more and a fragment appears, the sigh of a cello, a violin climbing one careful step, then vanishing again in the grain of noise. You keep your hand gentle. The static is not a failure now, just the space the music travels through. You tune by listening, not by forcing, and soon a melody finds you. It is simple, patient as a lighthouse, returning again and again to a phrase that feels like home. Outside, a distant car passes, a floorboard clicks, a faucet drips in a neighboring room. None of it interrupts. Each irregular sound becomes a small percussion beneath the steady line, a quiet syncopation that somehow deepens the peace. You realize the trick was never to erase the static, but to discover the signal strong enough to hold it all. And in that realization, the shoulders drop, the jaw unclenches, and the breath comes unhurried on its own. And so, this ancient intuition finds its echo in our own lives. Plans shift, messages arrive late, moods rise and recede like weather, and small accidents ask us to begin again. The random is not banished, it is rescored. When we remember the deeper rhythm, gravity as a bass line, daylight and darkness as long, slow measures, breath as the quiet conductor, we stop wrestling with every offbeat. Einstein lived close to that trust, order beneath change, law within surprise. We can practice it here in miniature. Inhale to a gentle count of 4, as if lifting the bow. Pause for one soft heartbeat. Exhale for 6, letting the phrase resolve. Again 4 in, pause, 6 out. Let the breath carry you like a theme that returns, reminding you that you are already within a larger composition. The notifications, the detours, the unplanned tears, tonight they can be grace notes, adding texture rather than threat. You are not required to conduct the cosmos. You are invited to tune your instrument. As we settle into this late movement of our exploration, let its quiet melody wash through the mind and ease the body, as if each muscle were a string slackening to perfect pitch. If the universe is a symphony, what motif will you trust to guide your steps tomorrow? Patience, courage, kindness, clarity. Perhaps choose 3 notes now, 3 qualities, and place them like small stars on the staff of your attention. Inhale softly as you name the first. Exhale slowly as you let it resonate. Then the second, and the third. Allow this thought to rest beside you. The melodies of order are not loud. They reveal themselves to those who listen with a willing heart. As you drift, imagine a vast, benevolent score unfolding across the dark, each measure holding you without demand. Humbly consider, without rushing to answer, what celestial symphony guides your life's dance. Let the question become a cradle for sleep, and let the music, constant, patient, eternal, carry you into the gentlest rest. As our shared journey settles into its quiet shore, let us rest with a simple insight. Peace arrives when we allow ourselves to be carried by the universe's grand symphony. The notes are everywhere, woven through the gentle rhythm of your breathing, the patient turn of the earth, the soft hush that gathers at night. All things are part of this music, and you are not outside of it. You belong to it, as a shoreline belongs to the sea. We walk together from the weight of uncertainty toward a deeper listening, and we learn to trust the underlying order that hums beneath noise. Now, as evening wraps the world in a velvet hush, allow the idea of interconnectedness to sit in your chest like a warm ember. You are within the harmony, and the harmony is within you. Let us take a soft breath here, in and out, like a tide moving under moonlight. Imagine an old shortwave radio resting on a windowsill, its dial a small horizon of possibility. Someone turns the knob slowly. The room fills with grainy static that sounds like wind across distant fields. The hand keeps searching left, right, until the static thins and a faint orchestra slips into focus, the brass arriving like sunlight after rain, the strings like a gentle path through a forest of sound. Nothing in the room changed. The music was already traveling through the air, invisible and complete. What shifted was attention, tuning towards signal rather than noise. The listener smiles, because the melody had been there all along, traveling oceans and night skies to arrive as a tenderness in the lungs. In that moment the world feels close, as if far cities and quiet hearts were woven by the same thread of music. And so this ancient pattern finds its echo in our lives. We do not control the whole song, but we can learn to tune the dial. When the day is crowded with alerts and angles, notice the steady meter beneath it all, the pulse in your wrist, the rise and fall of breath, the calm intelligence of night returning on schedule. Einstein once wrote of a quiet awe before the order of things. In 1930, in an essay titled Religion and Science for the New York Times Magazine, he described a cosmic religious feeling that needs no creed, only a receptive heart to the rationality of what exists. This is our practice now, not to force an answer, but to lean into the lawful kindness of the larger pattern, letting it hold us the way a wide sky holds the flight of birds. When we soften our edges, the world seems to soften back. Close your eyes gently and feel how the vastness is already cradling you. Breathe in for a slow count of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out for a soft count of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With the next breath, imagine a luminous thread extending from your heart into the quiet night, touching the arch of the sky, the leaves at your window, the sleepers in your city, the distant oceans breathing under stars. Let the thought settle. All things are interconnected, and you are part of this universal harmony. Perhaps ask very softly, what if you are already in tune, already enough, already held by the music that moves planets and kindness alike? Allow this question to rest with you as a companion. With each exhale, loosen what remains of the day. With each inhale, receive the steady rhythm that has been here from the beginning. As sleep approaches like a gentle shoreline, trust the symphony to go on playing and let yourself drift within it, safe, small, and immeasurably included. Good night, dear traveler. As our voyage with Einstein comes to its gentle shoreline, we discover that the destination is not a final answer, but a way of resting inside the answer that is always here. Acceptance. Not a resignation, but a soft consenting to the grand, dependable order that quietly holds every motion, every question, every breath. Across these nights we have listened for the music beneath the noise, we have let curiosity be our compass, and we have learned to stand with mystery rather than wrestle it. Now we allow the universe's lawful harmony to be our pillow. When we stop insisting that the mind should resolve every thread, the tapestry reveals itself. Patterns repeating, variations weaving into coherence, a vastness that does not demand our strain. Let us take a soft breath together, in through the nose like the gentlest tide arriving, and out through the mouth like the tide returning, unhurried and sure. In this acceptance, calm begins to bloom, the way dawn slowly brightens the horizon without needing our help. We are simply here, part of a lawful whole, allowed to rest. Imagine a quiet museum after closing. The lights are low, and a caretaker turns the key of a brass orrery, one of those old mechanical models of the heavens. With a soft whir, the tiny worlds begin to move along their shining paths. Mercury's small circle, Saturn's patient sweep, each gear meshing with another, each motion answering a deeper rhythm. Dust hangs like small galaxies in the air, and the caretaker simply watches, breathing with the turning. There is no urge to predict the exact point of each sphere at each second. There is only trust that the design is sound, that the wheels will carry every world exactly where it belongs. In that room, nothing needs to be forced. A hand rests on the polished wood, the heart slows, and the mind follows the quiet arc of the gears. Acceptance arrives not as a verdict, but as a feeling of alignment, a leaning into the motion that already knows its way. And so, this ancient poise finds its echo in our lives, amid deadlines and messages, questions unfinished and choices still unfolding. Acceptance is not stepping away from life. It is stepping with it, letting our smaller rhythms listen to the larger one. Einstein once wrote in a 1930 essay titled Religion and Science for the New York Times Magazine about a humble, or he called a cosmic religious feeling, a quiet reverence before the lawful harmony of what exists. We do not have to hold the cosmos together with our thoughts. We allow its coherence to hold us. In practice, this can be very simple. Do one honest thing at a time, breathe a little longer on the exhale, and let the unresolved rest in the wide field of a trustworthy order. We do not push the sky to change its light. We notice the light changing, and we move gently with it. As this night gathers you, let your body lean into the support beneath you. Let gravity do the work. You do not have to. Inhale softly and make the exhale just a sip longer, as if you were fogging a cool window, slow and quiet. Sense the mind's pages settling closed, one by one, while a deeper library stays open, the library of the world's steady laws, turning without effort. You are part of that turning. You belong to that calm. If a thought arrives, greet it kindly and let it drift, the way a kite settles when the wind becomes even and sure. Perhaps place a gentle hand over your heart and feel its faithful rhythm, a small echo of the greater rhythm we have learned to trust. Allow this question to sit quietly with you as you rest. What if peace is not found by finishing the world, but by consenting to be held by it? In this vast embrace, nothing urgent remains. The weave is intact. The order is enough. Rest now.